But what the marketing pulpit is about is strategy. Use social media and stop letting it use you. That's one thing about a business. It's an equalizer. It's a game changer. We have to think like the successful companies. Cheers. Good morning and welcome to the Marketing Pulpit Show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. Not saving souls, we're saving businesses, saving jobs, saving our community. Now, if I happen to save a soul along the way, don't hold that against me. We'll just call it icing on the cake. We are on a mission here at the Marketing Pulpit Show. We're about building strong businesses in our community, putting people to work, building an economic foundation, creating legacies for future generations. There's a lot of things that we can do right in our community. We can be spiritually correct. We can be morally correct. We can be politically correct. But until we get that financial element, we're going to have some problems. So I'm not going to solve all the problems, but what I do know that one ticket out of this morass we find ourselves in often could be a successful business. Many of us weren't born with golden spoons in our mouths. We didn't have money passed down from wealthy parents or grandparents like some communities. We've had to get it the old-fashioned way through hard work and toil, persistence, dedication. And unfortunately, sometimes dedication is not enough. You need the information. You need to know what you're doing. And that's why I bring the Marketing Pulpit Show every Friday. It doesn't cost you a dime because I understand the importance of knowing what you're doing. We do not need another failed business in our community. That's why later in the show, my sermon today is going to talk about why we do not need another failed business. Not only that, I'm going to talk about why business failure is not a victimless crime. There's collateral damage when you go out here and start a business and that business fails. I know you throw up your hands, oh, well, I tried it. Let me go back to my comfortable job. And sometimes you leave a trail of destruction in your wake. You've broken promises, hurt feelings, wasted people's money and time. So I'm not saying don't start a business. Matter of fact, I'm saying the opposite. What I'm saying is do it the right way. Be prepared. So I'm going to dedicate my segment today on business failure is not a victimless crime. And I put victimless crime in air quotes because it's not really a crime. But there is collateral damage. What's the answer? Let's do it the right way. We do not need another failed business. And if I see you embarking on something that's doomed from the start, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to call you out. I'm going to say, don't do that. That's going to fail. Why? Well, one, I've been at this so long. I've been at this longer than many of you have been alive. Okay? Don't let this youthful appearance fool you. I'm just kidding. I know I look a little old in the tooth, but that's come from wisdom. I've been at this for a while. Matter of fact, I spent about 25 years in corporate America. Yeah, I've been in the boardrooms. I've been vice president of this and senior vice president of that. I've even been president of other companies before I started my own. I'm still a president. I'm president of Gatewood Marketing and Web right now. And I see every type of business you can think of. I mean, I'm telling you, that is no exaggeration. I work with the Small Business Administration, helping companies in the 8A program. I teach this at the college, Prince George's Community College. Been doing that now for 25 years. written a couple of books on the topics. Do I know it all? No. Like an old scholar, author, client of mine, Neely Fuller, he says, I'm still learning. But I'm willing to share some of the information that I've attained over the years, some of the mistakes I've made, so that you don't have to keep making those same mistakes. And so that we don't have this trail of failed businesses. 1 out of 10 businesses that start today will be here 5 years from now. That's an abysmal record. But don't think that it happens without cost. You just can't keep doing this and dusting yourself off. Well, tried it. And I must say, that used to be me. I've been so gung-ho about making sure that everybody can start a business that even myself, I'm guilty of encouraging people who should have been told to wait, get more information, get more money, do a little more research, plan. This is a new day. This is a new attitude. As Patti LaBelle said, I've got a new attitude. If your business is not sound, if you haven't done the due diligence, then you're not doing anybody any favors by going out here putting another failed business in place. We're going to talk about that later in the show. Also, we're going to talk about some things that are happening in the news. Man, what is that? Life imitating art? There's no TV show. There's no drama. There's no mystery or rom-com or whatever you want to see. That's more exciting and interesting now than what's going on in the news. And good morning, Platinum. Thank you for joining us this morning, as you have done so many times. Much success on your business ventures. And she says, no more failed businesses. Ouch. Yeah, it can hurt. It hurts. Sometimes the truth hurts. I've talked to people this week. When they're calling me, I have a lot of sources of people that send potential clients my way. In the old days, I would take them all. Come on in here. When I was a little cocky, I was younger and a little less seasoned than I am now. Now I'm a realist. I'm a person who's seen too many failures and don't want to add yours to the pile. So I'm say about 5 people called me this week looking for business advice. And Mr. Gatewood, can you work with me? I sent 4 of them away. One, I said, look, let's talk about it. It's going to be an uphill struggle, but I think with your attitude, my knowledge, the industry you're deciding to get into, I think we can make a run for it. Yeah, that's my new attitude. Maybe I'm just tired. That could be it. Maybe I'm just old and tired now and don't have the bandwidth that I used to have. I'm sitting around drinking coffee and ready to grab some retirement checks. No, really, we all get more seasoned as we traverse this planet. We get more patient, more understanding. Maybe patience is maybe not one of the things you get. I was in the drive-thru this morning going to the McDonald's. I try to eat healthy now, so I don't buy the fritters anymore. And that thing should have come with a defibrillator, big old greasy, sweet bun with apples in it. And so I stopped buying those. So now I get a cup of oatmeal. Oatmeal and they give you some apples and raisins and cranberries. I mean, it seems healthy. I mean, like I said, I didn't put it under a microscope, or it looks healthy and it has all the trappings of what a healthy breakfast should look like. I mean, plus it has the word oat in it. Oat's supposed to be healthy. But anyway, that's another story for another day. But anyway, I was sitting in the line to order myself an oatmeal. And so this thing of patience was put to the test. You get to McDonald's, they got these 2 lines, right? One goes off to the left, one goes to the right. And you get there, you got to decide. The line's about the same length. But you get on that inside lane, sometimes you can't get through there because the car is going around. You won't let you in to get. So I took the inside lane today against my better judgment because that outside lane seems to always move faster. So I get in there because it was shorter and it was moving. It was going about equally up to a point. And with two cars ahead of me, one was an SUV and it had tinted windows. Because sometimes you can make a value judgment. If there's a car with like 5 people in it, you're like, I'm not getting behind this car. Well, this car had tinted windows, so I think they must have had a kindergarten class in the truck. The lady, the driver, just kept looking back over her shoulder like she was taking orders. I'm saying, oh my God, I'm going to be here. I'm going to miss the show. So anyway, we got through that. So I'm saying to myself, okay, patience, patience, patience. Thinking about Job in the Bible, who was the personification of patience. He endured all types of trials and tribulations, but his patience prevailed. So I'm thinking like Job. So I'm saying, I got through that. So I said, okay, patience worked. I didn't jump out, didn't go run my car through the person, didn't scream or blow my horn. So the next car, there's one person, one gentleman. He seemed younger and energetic, look about 5, 10, 20 years younger than I was. So I'm thinking he's going to just zip through here. But he was one of these particular people. Once he got the order, he's got to adjust his mirror. He's cleaning his ashtray, and I'm like, wait a minute, am I being tested this morning? So now I'm just watching the cars in the other lane just zip past me. I mean, it's like they're waving at me, mocking me as they pass me by. So this patient thing got a test this morning. But it gave me an opportunity to reflect on patience, because they say patience is a virtue. Patience is a virtue, which means that you have a tolerance for people's delay and sometimes incompetence. So that was put to the test. I don't know if there was any incompetence involved, but there was definitely some delay, which I felt was kind of unfair to me because I have some place to be. I'm in a hurry. 1 o'clock. You got to get here to tell this, give a good marketing gospel. So, but anyway, make a long story short, it did make me think about patience and that we should take heed to the fact that patience is a virtue. And a few lessons of patience is that use that time, that delay, to kind of catch up on things that you've been putting off. Okay, if somebody's got you held up in the line, I mean, take a minute, clean out your own ashtray, check your mail, take that side little pocket in your car where you've been storing trash for the last 2 weeks and it's running over. Clean it up. Okay? Wipe your mirror. Your windows all foggy and dirty. So use patience to your advantage, okay? And depending on the situation, sometimes you can use that patience and that delay to help somebody else move along. Somebody's stuck in front of you, for instance. Sometimes you're in traffic, somebody's in front of you, they're struggling. Sometimes I've been known to jump out the car and push them out of the way, help get off the highway. It's also an opportunity to reflect on your own shortcomings. You can sit there and reflect on how you should not behave. You see people who are being impatient, and you want to say, look, I'm not going to be that person. That is not the person I want to be. I'm a better person than that. So patience and the acknowledgement thereof gives us an opportunity to be a better person. Rather than screaming and laying on the horn and heaven forbids, resorting to violence. See this opportunity and be reflective. I remember a few years ago, this made the news and it really was sobering. An elderly gentleman was driving down the road. He took his general Sunday drive. He drove to the store to get coffee or something like that. And he drove like 20 miles an hour. And it was his routine. His family said that's what he did. Well, anyway, one day some guy got behind him who did not have the patience of Job, rather impatient. He was belligerent. And he just couldn't take it. It drove him out of his mind. He jumped out of the car, really beat the old man, I think, to death. And in the midst of his beating this old man, the police came along and shot the offender. Now, that's an extreme example of impatience run amok. So we don't have to go to those extremes to realize that there is some redeeming value in being patient, understanding that we're on this planet. But at the same time, understand that there are less patient people that have to be places. So when you're in line, you don't have to. If you know you're in a line and there's cars parked all around the block, this is not the time to be sitting there trying to clean your mirror and holding up the line. So patience also gives us a chance to be reflective on how to be a better person, how to be respectful of others. And think about Job. Patience is a virtue. This is what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and talk about some of the items in the news. We're going to talk about what's happening on Capitol Hill. We're going to talk about what's happening here in the Washington, D.C. area, where these worlds have collided. Politics, sports, the workplace. And later in the show, we're going to talk about why your business failure is not a victimless crime. Why? That's collateral damage when you decide to get into business. And why you need to think about this before you get into business, while you're in business, and when you decide to get out of business. Also, if you want to join in on any of the topics we talk about today, I put the information in the feed. Click on that and join the discussion, and we'll bring your own camera. You can talk about any of the topics that we talk about. And you can also talk about your business, your company. What are you doing? And what we might do, what kind of advice I can offer you this morning. So thank you again for tuning in. Also, you can go to mpi.bz. That's a shortcut to the information on how to become a participant in the show. Or you can just go to marketingpulpit.com. We're also on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and we are all things Marketing Pulpit. So hang on for a second. We'll be back in a minute. This is the Marketing Pulpit. We'll be back after the break. All right, we're back. This is the Marketing Pulpit Show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we are here every Friday, 10:30 a.m., bringing you the good marketing gospel. All right, we've got a lot going on today. Let's talk about some of these items that are happening in the news. Also, find out more about the show. Go to marketingpulpit.com, and you'll find all of the listening options there as well. You can also find out how to follow our podcast. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple. We're on Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Anchor. So this information is also available in podcast, where we take the marketing sermons that we give, and you can get it in audio. And if you're on Spotify, you can actually see it in video as well. So the information is available. We're going to talk about later in the show about why we don't need another failed business. And don't be so cavalier about starting these businesses if you don't plan to be successful, because there are costs. There's financial costs, emotional costs, and we're going to talk about some of those costs. We're going to talk about some of the people that are actually hurt by your transgression. And we're going to talk about how to avoid business failure. Well, the first one, of course, is to listen to this show. We're telling you every Friday what to do and what not to do. But I'm going to give you a short version today of some of the musts. We do not need another failed business in our community. We need businesses, but we need successful businesses. And if you're coming out here with a jacked up business and a jacked up idea, Robert Gates is going to tell you about it. I'm going to be nice. And I'm going to give you some advice. Matter of fact, I will tell you on this air. You can go to marketingpulpit.com and go to how to be a guest. We will bring you on the air on this show. I think a couple of weeks, last week, we had about 3 people come on the show, talk about their business ideas, and there's nonprofits. If you're an author, if you're a retailer, if you're in the entertainment, hair, law, accounting, let's talk about it. Matter of fact, your price of admission is to listen to these news stories and then comment. We give you a minute to give your opinion. And then afterwards, we're going to give you the microphone to talk about your product and your service. It doesn't cost you a penny. And we reach thousands of people every week. So don't complain. Don't curse the darkness. Light a candle. All right, let's talk about the news. We had another mass shooting, this time in the state of Maryland. 23-year-old man shot 4 of his co-workers at a manufacturing plant in Western Maryland. This happened on yesterday. The 254th mass shooting this year in the country, on pace to surpass last year's total, according to the Gun Violence Archive. The House of Representatives just passed a couple of bills aimed at gun reform. They recommended raising the age to buy an assault weapon to 21 years old. They recommended a ban on certain assault weapons other than for law enforcement, bump stop measures, and background checks, red flag laws, but they probably will not pass in the Senate. So people, I guess the opposition, the people who are beholden to the gun lobby, they hope to just run out the clock. They figure that, well, we've had a shooting where 21 people died 3 weeks ago, and they figure that eventually people are just going to forget about that. But what's happening, as soon as one finishes, as soon as you forget about one, another one takes its place. So that running out the clock strategy is not going to work this time. We can do better as a country, ladies and gentlemen. This shooting is just madness, and it's happening in the workplace. So it affects us. It affects us business owners. It affects all the stakeholders. Let's see. We have the hearings on Capitol Hill. Matter of fact, last night there was a prime time hearing of the January 6th committee, chaired by Benny Thompson and co-chaired by Liz Cheney. And they laid out their case for the connection between Donald Trump, former President Trump, and the insurrection that took place on January 6th. And it was very compelling, some of the information that was presented. Now, what I took away from it, most compelling piece to me was that there seemed to be a consensus among the former president and his allies that he did indeed lose the election. But there was a deceptive effort to convince others otherwise. Also, there was a young lady, one of the security guard, one of the police, Capitol Hill police. She made a new appearance, and she was very compelling. Talked about how she was beat up and bumped the head on the concrete, passed out, jumped up and kept fighting. It was almost hard to watch, to think that that we actually have politicians and others defending this, or trying to minimize it. And one such person happened to be one of the defensive coordinators of the local football team, the Washington Commanders. Defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio is under fire. He referred to the January 6th riot as a dust-up and engaged in some whataboutism. Compared the protests, the protesters who were upset, and justifiably so, of the slaying of George Floyd and the riots and some of the unrest that happened afterwards. He's comparing it to these folks who tried to overthrow the government. And so he is really under fire right now. Brian Mitchell, former Washington football player, he came out in a very scathing response. And Eric Johnson of the national chapter of the National Association Advancement of Color People, the NAACP, called for Del Rio to resign. I'm telling you, folks, you can't take these crazy opinions. You have to think about this when you're out here in these public positions. Now, Del Rio has a football team that's predominantly black in a town, Washington, D.C., that's predominantly black. It's very highly charged and politicized. Regardless of how he felt, I mean, I don't begrudge anybody having an opinion. If he feels that way, hey, who am I? I'm sure he doesn't agree with everything I have to say. But you have to take into consideration your position and your stakeholders. That's why I have this section called War in the Workplace. And it really talks about your stakeholders. You have to take into consideration who your stakeholders are when you go out here making these crazy statements. So Jack Del Rio, we can do better. We can do better. What else is happening in the news? Well, the hunt for tech talent. There was this challenge, this shortage of technical people, workers, programmers, IT people. Well, some are saying that is over. Companies are laying off IT and tech people. I never thought that day would come. Robinhood, the app that people do their little stock trading, and let's talk about the stock market. Whew, Lord have mercy. I should have jumped out at the beginning of the year. Woo! My goodness, I've lost about 30% of my portfolio. Ouch. Coinbase is frozen its hiring. Supply chain startup Stored is laying off workers. Carbon Health laid off 250 staff members. We've heard about Tesla, and the list goes on and on and on. People like Netflix, PayPal, Uber, Lyft, Snap, Meta have slowed their hiring. Well, now I'm not saying this to say that you shouldn't get into the tech field, but what I am saying is that everything is cyclical. Have yourself a backup plan. And if you have the skills and the wherewithal, do start you a business, some type of other type of revenue stream. Nothing guaranteed. That is the truth. Let's see, who's buying all the homes? Well, parents are buying homes for their children these days because these baby boomers, parents, have these millennial and younger children now who really can't afford a house. They're just not making enough money. Parents are trying to get them out of the basement. So what's happening right now, a trend is that the parents are now buying the house and putting the kids in it, which is really not a bad idea at all. It keeps it in the family. There's some tax-free advantages from this, what we call heirs tax. So I think that's a good thing. I'm really in favor of that. I like that. Let's see, what else is going on? Michigan is one of the states. I really like this story. I was a little curious though. Michigan, the state of Michigan, is one of the states that's on the verge of mandating finance courses in each of its public schools. In other words, they're making it a requirement before you graduate that you take courses on financial literacy. Other states, Utah, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Virginia, Ohio, and Rhode Island. 13 other states have either issued mandates or they're on the verge of bringing those into effect. What I'm curious about, though, I have to really do some research on this. Seems like most of these are red states. I'm curious as why we're not doing this in places like D.C. and California and New York. I really have to do some to find out what the catch is here. Because whenever you ever see those kind of numbers, you start to think, is there a catch? Is there a catch? Is there a catch? But anyway, I thought it was kind of interesting, the states that are doing it and the ones who aren't. Need to do a little more research on that one, Gatewood. I will get back to you, but that just jumped off the page at me as I was reading it. All right, let's take another quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about some disturbing items in the news. We're going to do our segment called War in the Workplace. Man, I'm telling you, boy, working in fast food is just an occupational hazard. Drive-thrus, McDonald's, Popeyes, Little Caesars. Some of these stories will blow your mind. This is the Marketing Pulpit Show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a minute. And definitely you don't want to miss our segment today about business failure has collateral damage. Just because you decide to pack it up, don't think that it ended just because you decide that, well, let me go do something else. It affects other people. It affects lives. That's why I want you to take it seriously, your decision to close your shop, but also before you even decide to embark on business ownership. I'm going to tell you also about my change of heart. I used to be one of these guys on the side of the street. Everybody should start a business. Well, I had very little qualifications involved, other than the fact that you could breathe air. That's not me anymore. That comes from being out here a minute and seeing the damage that can happen when you do this haphazardly. I'm definitely not saying don't start a business. I'm just saying be more thoughtful and do it the right way. So don't go anywhere. This is the Marketing Pulpit Show. I'm Robert Gatewood. We'll be back in a moment. I'm not busy. I'm just in another era. Lock the refrigerator door. Do not let negativity have another bite. Don't feed it. If we know that women are carrying the burden, they should be paid more. They should be given more flexible work hours. I may stop in some period, but as long as folks back the food, got to talk about it. If you want to join the conversation, here's the way to do it. You can get on the air, and we'll put you right here on the screen next to me. These are the rules. You have to chime in on one of the news topics of the day. I'm going to give you some news items to chew on. And if you have an opinion on any of those stories, and you just come on air, and we'll let your opinion be known. And every week, we talk about some of the hot items in the news. And then you, as a listener, have an opportunity to come on camera and give your point of view. And afterwards, you can talk about your organization, your book you're trying to sell, your event.
It's a collective effort. And because I've seen it from all facets, where you have parents who are involved in their child's life, but still things happen.
Well, Robert, I'm in the financial services industry, and I just really want to encourage people to get their things organized and documented.
When we don't see our children learning, we see our children in the street, they're going to learn from something. So it's best that they learn from us.
Before you curse the darkness, feel around in your pocket. See if you have a candle to light and light your way out of that darkness. Complaining is just not going to do it. Nobody wants to hear it. I'm telling you. Nobody cares about your complaint. I don't. I want you to do something about it. I'm concerned, but if you're not doing anything to light that candle, nobody gives a flying, you know what. All right. So the next time you find yourself facing doom, gloom, complain. Get out your matches, find you a candle, and just light your way out of it. Is it going to be easy? Not always, but I tell you what, you're more likely to get some type of result than sitting there complaining and cursing the darkness. Light the candle. All right, welcome back to the show. This is the Marketing Pulpit. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. I am here every Friday. I'm a business developer by trade. I do this for a living. I teach it. I do it. And I'm on a crusade to build strong businesses in our community, successful businesses. No more of this stuff that lasts a week and then you go out and leave a path of destruction in your wake. Let's talk about war in the workplace. I started this section during the pandemic because it seemed like people had lost their ever-loving minds. It seemed like they haven't gotten them back yet. Like that mind that they lost, still lost. Good morning, Lynn. Thank you for joining us this morning. That was a young lady who is, man, I really like her. She's a trooper, strong sister, has some challenges. She's the embodiment of somebody that knows how to pick up and keep it moving. So thank you for joining us this morning. Strong in the entertainment and broadcasting industry. I had her on my show, matter of fact, a few years ago. Thank you again, Lynn. War in the workplace. There was a video on online about a Popeye's chicken manager who was arrested for allegedly slapping a teen employee in the face. I guess I can remove the allegedly because I saw the video with my own eyes. Well, again, like I said, I guess you can doctor up videos nowadays. But that was rather striking, no pun intended. I mean, he said that she's on the phone talking. The guy hauls off and slapped us, you know what, out of her. And of course, the manager, Marquez Smith, who was 20 years old, he was charged with battery and first-degree cruelty. All right, Popeyes, you're in the news a little too often here. All right, let's see. Now, if you don't careful, some of these, you can't go around just slapping people. Sometimes people take matters in their own hand. They don't have the patience of Job. Just so happened the next story, a McDonald's worker guns down a manager after a dispute. Now, when I said war in the workplace, I was speaking pejoratively. I was not really speaking literally. But it seems that it's not pejorative at all. These people are actually at war. One, the manager, Popeye's manager, slaps an employee. McDonald's worker guns down a manager. The victim was a manager who had previously gotten into an argument with one of the employees. The employee returned and shot the manager in the leg after he told the employee to leave. Folks, has it come to this? Not to be outdone, 27-year-old Angel Kidd of Little Caesar came back. She got fired. She came back and told the manager, I want my job back. She got into a fight with the manager, pulled out a gun, and shot the manager. I mean, I can understand wanting your job back, but I don't think that's the way to get it. I'm just saying, maybe I've been out of the marketplace too long. But shooting the person that you are asking to rehire you, that's probably down at the bottom of the list of things to do to get your job back. I mean, like, I can do some overtime. I'll work on Sundays. I'll wash the windows. I'm going to shoot you. Nope, scratch that one off. I can just assure you, I have been out of the marketplace a long time, but just my common sense, my instinct, intuition tells me that's not going to get your job back. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. Lynn said we need a slapping ministry. Hey, Lynn, I like that. Lynn, that may be your next calling. A slapping ministry. Get old Will Smith in there and oh boy, that's funny. That's funny. Also, like you said, if you want to get on camera, go to MPI biz.bz, not biz, and you'll see the instructions for getting on the camera and talking about some of these topics that we're talking about today. So if you want to join the conversation, we have a way to do that, and we're glad to have your input. And here's the information on how to do that. And you can also go to mpi.bz and get the link, and we'll bring you on camera and talk about some of these topics that we're discussing this morning. And then you get a chance to talk about your service or anything else you want to talk about, or if you want to promote somebody else. Let's see what else is going on. Well, like the gun play is still at work. Back to McDonald's. 3 women walked into a McDonald's, and I guess they gave the manager some beef. No pun intended. And I can't make these gave the manager some beef. One of the employees goes in the back room, comes back out, points a gun at 3 women. And of course, for some reason, they had a red bandana on the handle of the gun. He told the 3 women to leave, and of course, now he's in trouble. I tell you about all these guns. We talked about these guns in the beginning, but it's too many guns out here. Now, not to be outdone, this young lady, she was at the McDonald's at the drive-thru. She got shot, and she drove herself to the hospital. This happened right here in the D.C. area on Wisconsin Avenue. What's going on with these guns and McDonald's and drive-thrus? Man, we need a slapping ministry, a gun ministry, a drive-thru ministry, a McDonald's ministry. All right, Lynn, I'm telling you, I'm putting the challenge on you, putting the challenge in your lap here. Here's an opportunity for you. Maybe it's a nonprofit, 501c3. Slapping, to keep people from slapping each other, well, shooting each other. It's not funny, but it is kind of bizarre. This next story, I think we talked about this last year, and the man was finally, wow. The man didn't get enough duck sauce, and he shot. Not only shot, he killed a delivery driver because he didn't give the man enough duck sauce. I must say I've experienced this firsthand. I didn't get shot, but I've experienced the ire and indignation that people have when you don't give them all of their sauces. In the DC area, mumbo sauce. And people can drink that stuff through like what those things you stick in your arm when you're in the hospital. Man, I used to do, we had my company, the Food Connection. We were one of the first home delivery restaurants type services. This was way before Uber Eats and these other types of companies. This was like 20 something years ago. I had a company called the Food Connection, and we take people their food. And so we pick up the food from places like Black Eyed Pea and Big Boys and Ranch House and Levi's, and we had this Asian restaurant, and they sold these wings, and so they take those fried wings over there, and if you didn't take that darn mumbo sauce with it, you had committed a cardinal sin, a crime, and people would let you know. I mean, I never been cursed out so many times. I started keeping a stash of mumbo sauce in my car. Whether you want it, I'd give it to you whether you ask for it or not. I'm just trying to, and I'm sure if it had been nowadays, I probably wouldn't have survived because that mumbo sauce, man. But anyway, this person killed a Chinese delivery man over duck sauce. And what's so ironic, the police get there to the guy's house, and he has a big old refrigerator full of duck sauce. So apparently he had some obsession He was stashing it. I guess he was worrying about one day when there's no duck sauce available. I'll tell you, man, this is people going crazy. You know, lost their beloved mind. What else is going on? In Kansas City, this man decides to get his hair done, his fade, his haircut. He didn't like the cut. So instead of going to Yelp or calling customer service, which would have been a more sensible approach, he returned with a gun. So the barbershop said, look, all right, buddy, we're going to fix you up. Have a seat. The guy that cut your hair is not here, and I'm sure he's happy. Either sit down here, and I'm going to see if I can straighten up that do. If it's a little uneven, we'll go ahead and fix it up. Remember Bobby Brown, when he used to do that song, every little step I take and my prerogative? They say he got that lopsided haircut because it was an accident, and he turned it into a style. And I talked about this morning about patience. How sometimes when you got to be a little patient, you have to turn the lemon into lemonade. This guy wasn't hearing that, so they told him to sit down. He told him to sit down and hold on. We're going to get to you. He got a little impatient. He flew into a rage, went to his car, came back, and shot one of the barbers. And he was going to try to shoot him again as he was on the ground, but his gun jammed, and somebody tackled him and held him till the police came. Oh, a haircut? I might not be taking my hair seriously enough. Let me give me a mirror here. See what's going on here. Let's see. Give me a selfie. Maybe I need to. I'm telling you, I'm just, like I say, sometimes old schoolers, we out of touch with reality of what's really important. To me, I didn't think hair was that important. I'm just saying. Maybe I'm missing out. People might be looking at me saying, man, you need to go shoot somebody. Have you looked at your head lately? I don't know. I'm just saying. This technology, folks, is going to be the end of us also. An Indiana woman tracks her boyfriend with AirTag and shoots him after finding him with another woman. She ran over him. She was using Apple AirTag. I guess it can tell you where you are. One person can put this tag on your car or your phone or something, and that person on the other end can track you down. Well, she tracked this guy down. He had another chick with him. She ran him over with her car, and apparently that wasn't good enough. She went into the restaurant where the other lady was, tried to hit her in the head with a wine bottle. Now, that was an angry woman. My goodness. She ran the guy over. That didn't kill him. She backed over him and ran him over 2 more times. What's going on, folks? Come on. There's something in the water. There's something in the coffee we're drinking. Uh-oh. There's something in the coffee we're drinking. You're killing people over hamburgers, haircuts. Somebody's out on a date that should be dating you. Folks, I'm going to speak to the community. We can do better than this. Now, of course, seeing all this craziness on TV is not helping. We got Will Smith slapping people, Monique and DL fighting each other. We got people storming the Capitol and trying to hang the vice president. We got people shooting young black men in the streets. But we don't have to mimic that behavior. Okay? We can do better. As a matter of fact, I got somebody that's tuning in here, going to come on screen and going to chime in on some of these news stories. So get ready. I'm going to welcome to the screen. Get your hair did. Get your hair straight over there. Don't shoot me now if I get you at the wrong angle, because I know people are kind of sensitive now. I don't want to be on anybody's in bad side because I gave them the wrong angle.
Hey.
Good morning. Platinum.
How's it going?
I am doing good. How you doing this morning?
I got you in my ear both ways. Let me turn off.
Oh my goodness. Platinum, what's going on? What is going on with folks nowadays?
Just trying to make it happen. That failed business, like, ouch, ouch, ouch.
Platinum, I'm telling you. You know
Oh,
me. I've been in this for a long time. Matter of fact, we've worked together in the past. And in the old days, I was like, come one, come all. If you got a business idea, let's work it out.
that's right. That's right.
I'm saying now, let's talk about it first and make sure that this business has a chance.
Yeah.
I do not want to see another business come out here and fail. So I'm not going to be supporting any craziness. If you
All
got
right.
craziness, your idea is jacked up, I'm going to say, get that out of here.
I know. I love all your top, even the one on the patients. I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe it was, maybe he was irking for something, wanted you to beat the horn so he can do something crazy. So you're
You
right.
think so?
You
You
know
know
what?
what? Platinum, you know what? I actually, you know how you can turn when you turn the corner to go to the next, and you can see the person in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
He did have a little attitude. I noticed the way he was kind of looking at me. It's almost like he wanted me to blow the horn.
Wanted you to, so he can get out and take out his frustration on you. You're right. It's like, you know what? Okay, this is about me. Right.
I'm glad because I thought that. I'm saying, no, that can't be it. But the guy does. I said, but somebody's
Especially
moving.
you say he's sitting there fiddling with stuff. You know what I mean? Or it could have been something else, but that's kind of my thought came to my head when you said it too, because that happened to me in the gas station. Young lady, because my new car takes diesel, and there was only one pump that had the diesel, and she hit it. And after she finished pumping, she goes to the store, and I'm like, okay. Then she gets in the car and she fiddling around. I'm like, okay. So finally, I just blew the horn. Like, could you get out my way so I can get some gas? And then she did say she couldn't get her car started. I was like, okay. Then you feel like a little heel a little bit, but maybe if you had moved your car, you'd be stuck over there and not at the.
But Marilyn, did you actually blow your horn?
I actually blew my horn and said, could you get out my way and let me try to get some gas?
You gotta slow down over there now. I ain't gonna be reading about you.
I know. Sometimes the drilling, I was patient. Like I said, she pumped the gas, went in there and got something, came back out fiddling. I'm like, okay, I think I'm patient enough.
But that is why I brought that up this morning, because I knew I was not alone. This happens on a daily basis. Now, sometimes these encounters turn violent.
Yes, they do.
So I'm saying maybe one or two people that might hear me this morning and say, look, okay, somebody's, like you said, a person could be testing you. Sometimes they could be having some type of physical challenge. You don't know what's going on in that car. This lady got kids. The kids could have gotten sick. Who knows what's going on?
I know.
So we have to take control of our emotions and say, look, I'm not going to add to it. Can I take this time and be more like Job and do something productive? Let me clean my own ashtray. This mirror I haven't cleaned in 2 years. Grab a tissue out of the side and clean the mirror. Get that trash off the floor. So that was my point this morning.
Yeah, I mean, all the topics you talked on, you talked on so many. I had another one the last year, and you was talking about even, it was the IV, but just
the sauce. You mean the duck sauce?
The ducks, people. Oh wow! But even with the guns, that's just crazy. I mean, it's in the Capitol Hill with the hearing that's going on.
Did you see the hearings last night?
Yeah, I looked at some of them. I had a meeting. I caught what's her name? Cheney, and she was doing the 7 days what they're gonna be doing. And then I got to hear the police officer and all that. Which is just, they know it's a lie. I mean, I looked at, I said, let me just sneak over to Fox 5, the cable news, y'all, not our local Fox 5, Maryland, or the D.C. area. Oh, they were talking about everything but that. Instead of them talking about that, just unnecessary stuff. It is unfortunate that you got people following them, believing the hype.
Well, let me ask you this. Tell us what you're doing. What you want to promote today?
Let me see what I want to promote today. Today, I want to promote me and another partner in comedy. We decided to collaborate. And you mentioned about collaborating. We call it her name is Ella the Speller. Of course, my stage name is Platinum. So she said, hey, how about we call ourselves Elevate to Platinum Entertainment? E-to-B. P Entertainment.
Okay.
And so we came up with E to the P. We got our first date set for August the 20th in Woodbridge, Virginia.
All right.
So if you live closer to the DMV and you want to come out, we do have hotel rooms you can reserve under Back to Life Comedy Tour. So if you don't want to leave that night, because Sally, she lives in Woodbridge, so we'll do the first one near there. So it's at the Town Place Hotel, no, Town Place Suites by Marriott. And so if you go to my page, which is like my name here, Platinum-Maryland Franklin, you'll see the flyer that I did. Click the link, buy your ticket. Or you just click the link and everything is there. Get the early bird special. The tickets will be $35, but until the end of this month, they'll be regularly $45, but until the end of this month is $35.
Now tell me do you have a web address?
It's not on my web address, but it's on a landing page. So
okay.
If you go to Platinum-Maryland Franklin, my Facebook web page,
okay,
click on that link, click on the poster, you'll see Elevate to Platinum Entertainment. It'll be there. You just click on that link and it'll give you everything you need to know.
Well, thank you, Platinum. Thank you again.
They say the landing pages are the new website.
Yes, indeed. You're exactly right, because we have.
I'm trying to debate whether I want to do a class on about people who want to be on stage. What's it like to be on stage? What does it take? That kind of thing. Because I got into the online classes and life coaching. So,
Platinum, I tell you, it doesn't take me but a second to know a good idea. I'm saying on that one, go for it.
Go for it.
Really.
Okay.
Because you have the passion, you have the personality, you have the experience, you check all the boxes. I say go for it. And now technology makes it so easy to do.
That's right.
I would say do it.
Do it. Okay. I take your advice.
All right. Well, that's Platinum. Thank you, Platinum, for tuning in. And
my website, if they want to just go to my website, is Platinum Purpose Enterprises.
Platinum Purpose Enterprises.com. All right. Thanks, Platinum. All right. We'll see you around. Thanks for tuning in.
All right. Thank you.
That is Platinum. She's a comedian. They're having a concert coming up. Go to her Facebook page, Platinum. Just Google Platinum and her Platinum Purpose Enterprises. That's her website.com. And then you find the information there. So, all right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. And also, like I said, if you have a company, or organization, a book, an event you want to promote, don't just sit over there and complain that you don't have any publicity. We're giving you the stage. Just come on here and talk about one of the topics of the day, and we'll give you the microphone, and then we'll give you a chance to promote afterwards. And we're going to go right now to a break and come back and talk about our topic for the day on how we don't need another failed business in our community. We have enough. That's one thing. There is no short supply. So we're going to talk about the cost, some of the costs associated with these failed businesses and what we can do about it. So hang on, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a moment. I'm not busy. I'm just in another era. Lock the refrigerator door. Do not let negativity have another bite. Don't feed it. If we know that women are carrying the burden, they should be paid more. They should be given more flexible work hours. I may stop in some period, but as long as folks back the food, got to talk about it. All right, welcome back. Welcome back to the Marketing Pulpit Show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. We're here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. We're not saving souls. We're saving businesses, saving jobs, saving our community. I am Robert Gatewood. I'm a business developer by trade. I'm an adjunct professor. I have a company called Gatewood Marketing and Web. Also a consultant for the Small Business Administration. I've written a couple of books, one called Played in Full, one called Smarter Than the Boss. Just Google Robert Gatewood or Marketing Pulpit. Get all the information you need to know about this show and yours truly. Now, my sermon today, we're going to talk about why our community does not need another failed business. Now, I might seem like a strange person to be bringing this message because I've spent most of my year as a business developer telling folks to go out and start a company. Talking about all the benefits, why our company, why our community needs it. It's the key to the kingdom. It's the equalizer. and all those reasons. And those reasons have not changed. The only thing that has changed now is that I want people to be more thoughtful, more purposeful in their decision to jump into the business arena. First of all, it's not easy. And I think the reason many people do it is because they say, look, well, if I do it and it doesn't work, I'll just go back to my 9-to-5 job and all will be well. Well, that's true. You can do that. But what about the relationships and the damage you may have done with that hasty decision? Now, what's driving everybody to go out and try to start a business in the first place? Well, people like me, for one. We've been pumping on that. We've been blowing that horn for years. Our family members, sometimes we get tired of being kicked around at the job. Sometimes things like racism, sexism, ageism, we're not getting a fair shake on the marketplace. We want independence. Inflation, we need income. We need additional income. Sometimes it's just plain old misinformation that starting a business is easy and that it's victimless if we fail. Those are some of the things that makes us go into these decisions and start these businesses sometimes without all the thought that should go into it. We're also encouraged by family and friends. We have social justice warriors like myself who believe that business ownership is the panacea. That used to be me. I'm still your justice warrior, but I'm singing a different tune these days because I've seen too many businesses fail. Some that probably should have never started. Some should have waited. Some should have taken some additional steps. And then you have people that consultants and professionals. Sometimes they have their own reasons, self-serving reasons for pushing you into that business. Well, they're trying to get a client. And sometimes that ends up backfiring when you do it hastily. Now, I'm saying that this is not a victimless crime. And I put air quotes around crime because it's not really a crime unless you're doing something illegal. But there are victims when you do this too hastily. Okay? Sometimes you need to give this thing a little more thought. You need to talk to some folks. Because there are victims. There are people that are hurt sometimes by your decision to jump into business and jump out without the proper thought, before and after thought. We start out, we call these people your stakeholders. We start out with the clients themselves. I can't enumerate the number of times that I've seen people go into business and they've built a client list. And sometimes that client list came at the expense of moving that business from an existing company to your company. In other words, I took my money out of this bank to put in your bank because you convinced me that this was a better choice. I took my hosting off this company and put it on yours because you convinced me you were a better choice. Okay? I got rid of this lawn person. I got rid of this gardener. I got rid of this accountant because you convinced me that you were more professional, that you were a better fit for my company. So I've switched all of my accounts. I've moved my information. And then 6 months later, you're gone. Now I've got to go back and do that all over again. I burn the bridge sometimes in the process. I can't go back to the company I just left, so now I'm out here looking for another company. Sometimes people do go back to the company they left. They realize they made a mistake. Happens all the time. I can't tell you how many times people have come back to me after they left, went somewhere else. Somebody waved a shiny object in front of them. One of these fly-by-night companies, they didn't last 3, 4, 5 months. They come back to me with the tail between their legs. I didn't know that company was this, or I didn't know. I thought they were. In other words, my point is there are victims to this decision. So your customers and your clients, that's the number one victim. The other victim is your staff. You go out here and hire people. You promised them the moon and the stars. Leave that company, come work for me. And some did. They see this new startup company, sharp young lady or man running it, wave a nice salary in front of you. So you left that secure company to come work for this startup. You close up shop, now they're back on the marketplace without a job. Community. You open that grocery store. You open that restaurant. When you did that, you blocked out another competition. Because sometimes there's a bidding going on. Sometimes there's only room for one. You decide to close up, now there's the vacuum. Partners. You're forging these partnerships. You're hitching your wagon to some reputable company to give yourself legitimacy. They're beating your drum for you. They've hitched their wagon to yours. You go out here, you blow it, it puts a stain on them as well. Don't even talk about investors. That's obvious. It costs money. And then there's if in our community specifically, you go out here and blow it, and the next person that comes along that looks like you is going to have a harder time. Because you know what they're going to say? I tried a black company. And look what they did. They went out of business after 3 months, left me high and dry. You're dealing with people's personal information, their databases, their customer lists, their goodwill. So this decision to hastily start a business and then fold up is not a victimless crime. You can't just say, look, oh, well, I tried. Now I'm going to go back to bed and go to sleep and sleep like a baby when you left a trail of destruction in your wake. This is not to scare you or to make you feel bad. I'm just saying, think this through and do it the right way. That's an old saying. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. This is what we can do. I can't solve your business problems a day or in a 1 hour show or on 100 1 hour shows. But what I can do is equip you, tell you some basic, some foundational things that you can do to make sure you're not starting a business that has no chance of succeeding. And if you like many, you did everything right. Sometimes it's circumstances beyond your control. How do you get out of it? Well, first of all, it's plan. Try a business plan. I'm more and more into business plans these days. Once again, now, see, I came from an old school of marketing where I use heuristics. Heuristics is a short word for experience, understanding the marketing, the marketing landscape. So I use heuristics a lot of times where I'm telling people, look, I'm going to give you advice based on my experience, my understanding. We might not necessarily have to do an expensive business plan, which can run into the thousands of dollars. But what if I'm not here? What if you decide, look, I'm not in the room every step you make? Something needs to be documented. So get a marketing plan, business plan. At the very minimum, do a SWOT analysis. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You need to know what your strengths are, what the opportunities are. What are your weaknesses? And what are the threats on the horizon before you decide to start a business? Continue to educate yourself. What was good in some of these instances, what was good for last month is not good 6 months down the road. You have to constantly stay on top of your game and the industry. What's going on in that industry? Particularly in this era in which we live right now. Everything is so technical and the life cycles are shorter. Do an examination of your mindset. If you still feel like you need that Mercedes, that Lamborghini, that Jaguar, when you're trying to start a business and you're just trying to get off the ground and that's your priority, you feel like you need to take a trip every month, that's your priority when you're trying to start a business, You are digging your own grave, I'm telling you. Even if you can afford it, because there is this cycle that businesses go through. Introduction, growth, maturity, decline. You may be in an industry that has a growth. Things are really booming. That can end. That can fly away like a thief in the night. So you need a mindset that says, I have to understand that being in business is tough. There's going to be good days and bad days. And just because I had a good week or a good month or a good year, I can't go out here and load up on luxury cars and other trappings. So it's a mindset that's going to prepare you. You have to understand marketing. That's where this show comes in, and people like myself. Marketing is not just about advertising. Marketing is about understanding the marketplace, understanding your audience, understanding your location, distribution channels, consumer adoption processes, life cycles, KPIs, the marketing metrics. You have to understand marketing. If you don't understand it, you better get somebody who does. Otherwise, you're going to be one of these companies that we're talking about. And you got to have a mission and a purpose too. Money is good, but you need more than that. You need to be grounded in something. You need money, but you need a purpose too. And I don't want to minimize the money part. Let me jump on that. This is another area where I feel like I owe people an apology. Many people that have come to me over the years seeking to start a business, they were bootstrapping it. They had very little money, but they had a lot of grit, a lot of willpower, a lot of energy. They had big supporters, but they were more or less moral support. You have to be able to fund those aspirations. You can't just wish. This is one place where the wish factor just not enough. I'm not saying you need a big $1 million investor, but if you have a full-time job, you got that 9-to-5 government gig paying you 6 figures, and if you can peel off enough of that money, that might do it. If you have a stock portfolio, you can get money against that stock. You can do a HELOC. There are ways to get money, but you must be able to fund these aspirations. You can't just say, I'm going to go out here and make it as I go, because some things require upfront capital investments, things like inventory. If you're an author, you got to buy the books. You can't just say, I'm going to buy one book on the book that I just sold. You have to be able to invest in things like inventory and technology and people, location. That is not a pay-as-you-go option. So if I've ever led anybody to believe that you can start a business with no money, I'm correcting that today. You need some money. And that's where your plan will come in too. Your business plan with a projection will tell you how much money you need. And back to our purpose. It's got to be something greater than making money. Because what's going to happen, you're going to have those bumps in the road, those difficult days, those difficult months. And you're going to be one of those people that's going to be tempted to throw in the towel. Everybody else be damned. So what? I'm going to throw some people out of work. I'm going to burn some bridges and relationships. I've taken people's word. I've made promises that I'm not going to keep. Sometimes that purpose, if it's a greater calling, you will be able to get through those tough times. It's got to be something greater than just making $1. I'm just telling you. If you don't, I'm telling you right now, don't do it. Stay on your day job. We don't need another failed business. Because the money, I'm telling you, money is too fleeting. Markets are too fickle. Competition is too fierce and strategic. If you can't commit to a purpose and something greater than just chasing a dollar, don't do it. Just go ahead and keep working at the government, at the tech company, Deloitte, or wherever you are. I'm telling you, I don't want to see another failed business out here. I'm getting tired. So let's say you've done all this. You say, oh, look, Robert, I did everything you said. I have a purpose, a mission, money, market, and I'm still just not coming together because there are sometimes extenuating circumstances. The market changes, a war breaks out, supply chain issues. Just nothing you can do to fix it. Well, failure does not exempt you from responsibility. Just because things didn't go your way, you can't say, well, look, I tried. Everybody, give yourself a exit ramp. You know what exit ramp is? When you're driving down the street, you're going like 70 miles an hour. You can't just make a right turn. You need a ramp so you can slow things down and prepare you to get off. You don't decide tomorrow to go out of business. Get on in the exit ramp. Talk to folks. Let them know what you're about to do. Don't just leave people out here hanging. You're going to hurt some people. Do the responsible thing. We did a show last week on business exit strategy. It's worth going back to look at, to watch. Because your reputation has to survive this setback. I know sometimes when we close a business, we feel like it's the end of the world. But it's not. You can come back. You can come back stronger, but it depends on how you left. All right, folks, that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. All your comments. Platinum says, a business owner, we should think about service, success, then money. Right on. William says, we need to have a good strategy to start a business. We need to have a great team. You're exactly right. Good. Thank you, everybody else. Emmanuel, thanks for tuning in. Lynn. Everybody who's tuning in, all of the different platforms. We see people on, let's see, we got YouTube, we have Facebook, I see LinkedIn. And so, folks, this show is worth sharing. I'm just going to tell you, because I'm trying to correct or at least adjust some of my previous advice of saying everybody can and should start a business. I'm not saying that I don't want you to start a business. I'm not saying that you shouldn't start a business. I'm saying do it the right way. As a matter of fact, my slogan when I close every show, I have to tell you, and this hasn't changed at all. I say, if you want to be successful, you have to do these three things. Do the right thing, do it at the right time, and you have to do it right. I'm going to say that again today. I want to thank you for tuning in. Share this information, and I'll see you back here next week, right here on the Marketing Pulpit Show, as we do every Friday. I'm Robert Gatewood. I have a company called Gatewood Marketing and Web. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and marketingpulpit.com. I'm going to say it again. If you want to be successful, you have to do these three things. Do the right thing, do it at the right time, and you have to do it right. Enough talk. Let's get to work. People don't understand marketing. You can't stop every time the money runs out. You need to come on and tell people why your service is different. Why is everybody so angry? Airline passengers biting the TSA agents. I mean, it reminds me of one of those zombie apocalyptic movies. And as a community, collectively, we're going to be taken more seriously if we have that strong economic foundation. Do the right thing, do it at the right time, and you have to do it right. Enough talk. Let's get to work.